were shipped to 27 states, including Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. Rich Thomason reporting.
AAA says U.S. gas prices jumped to an average of $4 per gallon as of today. Oil prices have climbed again in recent days, putting downward pressure on Wall Street at the closing bell. The Dow was off 307 points. The Nasdaq off by about 13. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low dropping down to 77. Tomorrow, much like today, a blend of sunshine and clouds to go at 96 as our high temperature. Rain chances do increase on Wednesday to 40% with increasing clouds. We'll have a 60% chance for showers on Thursday. The high is 90 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports Talk Media Network. Days we come to you from Tampa, Florida, site of SEC Media Days, which began this morning. We've had 4 coaches come through, so we're at the one-quarter pole of this event that will run through Thursday. We'll have 16 teams come through total, including South Carolina tomorrow afternoon. But today we heard from the folks at Kentucky and Tennessee, Missouri, and Oklahoma. And, of course, the big snoozer himself, the commissioner, put us all to sleep when we were already half asleep when we got there. So it's been a good day, though. I mean, it's not been a day of fireworks or anything that would blow your head off. No kind of major news. I mean, the commissioner talked about the things every commissioner is talking about, you know, how to get Congress to bail them out of their problems, how many teams should make the playoffs. I mean, this is so stupid. The idea that the SEC would break away from the NCAA, Bergie, that's about the lamest thing I've ever heard. Who are they going to play if they leave the NCAA? They're just going to play each other, you know, in every sport and not play anybody else? That's ridiculous. Whoever is dreaming up that kind of stuff needs to have their blood checked for some kind of, artificial substance.
Well, Sankey won't let that story die, though. He was asked about that in the main room early this morning. He was asked about, are these legitimate conversations? He said, yeah, but they were supposed to be kept behind closed doors. And then Ross Dellinger of Yahoo, he writes a story today without passage of a revised Senate bill. SEC leaders are preparing for, quote, Plan B, a self-governing model in which the league enforces its own rules and perhaps even competes against its own members. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. As I mentioned last week, Phil, when we heard Jim Phillips talk about this, he was asked about, you know, is the ACC concerned about this possibility with the SEC and the Big Ten? He played it pretty much down the middle. I say if I'm an ACC commissioner or Big 12, go. Let's call the SEC's bluff on this because there's no way they can do this. Legitimately, they can't go and do their own thing. I mean, like you said, who are they going to play? They're going to have, just a conference schedule, and then I guess the top 4 teams in the SEC would play in an SEC-only postseason. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. How many times can you play Mississippi State? Before you get bored with it, or I'm sure in Starkville they're saying, how many times can you play South Carolina before you get bored with it? I mean, So come on, people, let's start thinking clearly here and stop being foolish is what they're doing. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, you never say never in this world, but truly, of course, I never thought, high school juniors would be having millions of dollars thrown at them and eventually cashing in on that, by the time they get to college. But we got that going on. So who knows what's going to happen. But I do think that's pretty stupid to be talking about those sort of things. So we're off and running here, and South Carolina will be here tomorrow. Shane Beamer and 3 of the Gamecocks, Sellers, Harbor, and Peyton Williams. And we'll have a session with the 4 of them before they start making their rounds. The South Carolina media will have a chance to get up with them close and personal before they start going to the various interview sessions. So we'll have all that covered for you tomorrow. They're in the afternoon wave tomorrow, so we'll have that for you tomorrow afternoon. Let's see. Also on the schedule for tomorrow, I'll tell you very quickly, I believe it is going to be the following teams besides South Carolina. You're going to have Georgia, you're going to have Auburn, and you're going to have Vanderbilt in here for the sessions tomorrow. And the players, all players at this point of the season, of the offseason, they're all optimistic. They're all loving their coaches. They're all putting in the extra effort. Everything they think that's going to make them a contender to win, in this case, the SEC championship and earn a spot in the playoffs and have a chance to make a run at the national championship. So, some people call it talking season. Around here, if you sit around enough of the press conferences, I like to call it talk about season, because so many of these reporters don't know how to ask a question. So-called reporters, I should call them maybe podcasters or influencers. Maybe we got a bunch of, but they begin a question with, talk about. I mean, that's not. You don't begin a question with a statement, with a sentence. That's not a question. That's a sentence. Mm-hmm. Talk about, how you feel with your new offensive coordinator, Joey, or whatever the case may be. Just drives me up a wall when I hear that. But we work through that and we get to ask some good questions eventually. Was trying to ask Brent Venables a question today, but couldn't get the mic. I was going to ask him his thoughts about the chatter that Dabo Swinney is, I'm not going to say thin ice, but maybe not on solid ground at Clemson anymore. Is that possible? I was running this through my head. Is it possible that, let's say Clemson has another subpar Clemson season compared to what they've been used to? 7 wins last year. Let's say they're around the 7-8 win mark this year. Don't make the playoffs. Don't win the ACC. Go to a crummy bowl game. That sort of thing. Is the ground under him that soft that somebody at Clemson with a new president, coming in and da-da-da-da, I mean, they certainly wouldn't consider making a change at Clemson under any circumstances, would they?
No, I don't think so, Phil. I think the only reason Dabo would leave is if he looks let's assume for a moment they go 6, 7, 8 wins. He looks really hard at himself in the mirror and says, you know what, I'm not getting it done anymore. I've loved this place for as long as I've been here. I mean, he's the longest tenured coach in the ACC. He's clearly the most successful coach currently in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They won't fire him, but I think Dabo would leave on his own terms because I don't think he's one of these guys that wants to have sort of a retirement party on his way out the door. I think he would leave because he doesn't believe he's being as successful as he once was.
Yeah. Maybe so.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't.
Walk out while it's burning behind you. Yeah, walk out while it's burning behind you. But I'll tell you what, I'm reading some stuff from Tiger Illustrated over the weekend. Just trying to catch up on a bunch of reading while I was gone last week. Been trying to read everything I can get my hands on. And they do a lot of writing where you got to kind of read the tea leaves. Put 2 and 2 together, that sort of stuff. And I mean, what I took away from Larry Williams is that there is a true quarterback controversy at Clemson, a true quarterback. You can call it a controversy. You can call it a competition. That Vizina is not an absolute lock to be the starting quarterback when they go to LSU. That they are very high on Tate Reynolds, and they believe that he is good enough. I say they. I mean, I'm just going off of what he's writing. Apparently, there's belief there by people that he might be good enough to come in and be the starter by the start of the season and not somebody that they're just going to bring along because of the urgency for this offense to take off and get back to where it used to be, and it needs that guy. And, again, I don't think I don't think among Clemson fans, apparently among the Clemson media that covers the team, from what they are reporting from their sources up there, that there is that belief from top to bottom that he is the guy, and this other cat might be the guy. So I think we're really going to have a true quarterback competition in August at Clemson, when maybe a couple of months ago you never thought that would be the case.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because clearly that was a subject of discussion last Tuesday when Clemson had their sort of local media outing, and Chad Morris was asked about that, and Chad played it off and said, well, Coach said CV's our guy, and so we're going into the season with him as our guy. But Dabo made an interesting point. I think it was during his presser. He may have said it earlier, but I think it was on Tuesday. He said, you know what, I saw what I needed to see from Vizina. I needed him to get better every day in spring practice. He did. He got better, and the spring game was his best day. So he comes out of spring with the job. But then Dabo went on to say he didn't sign up for a lifetime contract. He knows he's still got work to do, and he is going to have to continue to improve going into the fall. So you're right. It was not a ringing endorsement. I think it was about as close as you could give it, and establishing him as the starting quarterback. But you're right. I'm not sure Larry Williams is just misreading the tea leaves, as you pointed out. I think there is the possibility of some serious competition. I'll still believe Vizina will start against LSU. The better question may be, will he start game 4 after the North Carolina game? I mean, who's the starter then? Might be the best question to ask of the Tigers.
Well, I read enough to make me think that there's going to be competition, and
you may not be wrong.
Cut and dry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing's cut and dry in that situation. Hey, I want to mention that we are here in Tampa, and our coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by something brand new, Sandstorm Tequila. This September, a new tradition arrives in South Carolina, introducing Sandstorm Tequila, created by Gamecocks, for Gamecocks. From tailgates and watch parties to celebrating the biggest wins of the season, Sandstorm Tequila is made for the moments that bring Gamecock fans together. Look for it at retailers across South Carolina this September, and follow Sandstorm Tequila for launch updates and events. Sandstorm Tequila, created by Gamecocks for Gamecocks, and please enjoy responsibly. All right?
I
so
love
you know
it.
what?
What a great name for a tequila.
Yeah. If the Gamecocks win the national championship, they win the SEC championship, I will crack open a bottle of Sandstorm Tequila and toast the Gamecocks to their championship. But if you're a Gamecock fan out there, make sure you get you some Sandstorm Tequila once it comes out in September. Okay, so coming up tonight, we're going to hear a little bit from the 3 coaches who are here today who will be facing South Carolina this coming season. We'll hear from Venables. Of course, the Gamecocks go out there. We will hear from Heupel. He'll be bringing Tennessee to Columbia. And we'll hear from the new coach at Kentucky, who I think Will Stein's his name. I think if you passed him on the street, you would think he's a guy that you're going to get a mortgage from, not a guy that's going to be calling plays in front of 70,000 people. I mean, he doesn't. He looks like a banker, but he's a football coach, and he'll tell you he's a football coach, and he believes he's going to win, and he's got a new quarterback, a transfer from Notre Dame to work with at Kentucky. So that will be something to watch. Tennessee, I think, is going to be a very interesting situation because they've got, of course, a lot of talent, and they got two. The Staley kid from Strom Thurmond should never have gotten out of the state. He had 68
but it's not the
catches
first
last
time
year
our state has lost guys to Tennessee.
Yeah, you can't do that. And teaming up with Mike Matthews gives them a great combination. Now, their problem, their concern is they've got a freshman, either a freshman or a redshirt freshman, who's going to be the quarterback. So they've got a quarterback competition going on in the fall. Who's going to be the quarterback? Now, both quarterbacks, Faison and the redshirt freshman, what's his name? It'll come to me. McIntyre. They were both very heavily recruited guys coming out of high school. But they're brand new. Then again, I'm just talking about Clemson starting a brand new freshman quarterback. So this day and age, it doesn't matter anymore, freshman, sophomore. Best guy's going to play, and you're going to go with that guy. So I will hear from those coaches a little bit more, of course, from the from the ACC, as well as we catch up on some of the things that went down in Charlotte last week with Clemson in particular. And MJ Ward will join us at 7:05 to put a wrap on what was an intriguing Open, was it not, Bergie?
Yes, it was. Very interesting finish, especially with regards to Scottie Scheffler getting back into the mix. Got a very favorable ruling on the 17th hole on a par 5, allowed him to birdie, and then he couldn't finish it. And if he can make any putts, if there is an issue with Scottie Scheffler's game right now, it's his inability to putt. But if he would have made some putts, you're probably looking at him as repeat champion. But the job Ryan Fox did, and I love this guy. He's my new favorite golfer. Phil, as soon as Sam Burns got done on the 18th hole yesterday, it took 22 seconds for Ryan Fox to size up his putt, step up, and knock in the most important putt of his career. Dude is a fast player, and I love it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I was having to listen to it on the PGA network, and they had a bunch of Englishmen. I had an interesting ride in as far as my sports day. So I left Columbia. I was able to listen to the Open, and then turned over and was able to listen to the first game of the Yankees and the Dodgers. Then that ended, and flipped over and caught the last 10 minutes of regulation and then all the other stuff of the World Cup. Mm-hmm. When I was inundated with more English-sounding people. And
Sure.
Actually, no. I think that was an American.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if Fox was if I was hearing the television broadcast or a separate. I was hearing a television broadcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
If you were listening to it in English, it was the television broadcast. They just replayed the TV broadcast.
Simulcast it. And then back to the Yankees and Dodgers for Game 2 of that doubleheader. And then when that was over, flipped over and listened to some of the race out of North Wilkesboro. So I had plenty of great sports to listen to on my ride down here. And I was going to say, I heard a new. Let's see if I can remember it now. I heard a new phrase in golf, because you know how Englishmen are when they're around the Open. They treat everything like it's the most important moment in the history of golf. And this announcer used a phrase when he was talking about a golfer being one shot back. And it was something like, I'd never heard this phrase used before. It was something like one shot, fire. I can't remember the word that he used now. I wish I had written it down. Something like a side. It was like one shot to the side, or not one shot back, not one shot behind, but one shot aside. Or so I can't think of the exact term that he used, but maybe it'll come back to me. All right, let's run to the break, and we'll be back with more. We can take some phone calls if you want to jump on board and talk about things happening here last week at the ACC or anything else. As we dive into college football, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. And, of course, don't forget to learn more about the lottery and its impact on everybody here in South Carolina, something you can do very easily by checking out their website. And we'll be back in just a moment.
It might be tough to picture your kid in college today, but it'll be here before you know it. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to start saving right now. You can start with any amount. Savings grow tax-free, and friends and family can chip in too. Discover the smart, easy way to save today at FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com. That's FutureScholar.com.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot, and the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
We're back. Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen. Bergie at the Bergie Palace. And the plumber, Josh Cohen, at our studios in Columbia. I'm coming to you from Tampa. 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/education wins. Playing for fun is a win for education. Text line number 803-900-4847, brought to you by Larry Lucas State Farm Insurance. Larry's been taking care of people across the state for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching, it's easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com or give him a call, 803-799-1998. That's in Columbia. His Lexington office is 803-359-0770. Billy Baker, High School Sports Report, wants me to throw this out to any coaches and ball players listening. They are having their annual Prep Football Media Picture Day Wednesday, 4 to 6, at the indoor at USC. All varsity football players in good standing are invited. Just wear your game jersey, just very casual. And so mark that down if you weren't already aware. July 22nd, 4 to 6, USC Indoor, the Spurrier Indoor Facility. Put on your jersey. Go there between 4 and 6 and get some love from the High School Sports Report. By the way, David Shelton
opens practice this week.
That doesn't surprise me. They're usually a little bit ahead of the high school league.
It's incredible.
I was going to mention David Shelton is feeling better. You know, he's gone through some surgeries and some other medical things, and battling hard to get back on his feet and be able to cover football this coming season. That's what's driving him. That's his goal. Mm-hmm. So we are pulling for him and hoping he'll be a part of our high school scoreboard coverage again this year. All right, let's jump to the phones, 888-898-2525. And Taylor Novinger up in Easley tonight, our man from over in Sumter and Crestwood and over that way, and doing some American Legion play-by-play. And I guess you got a playoff game tonight in the Upstate.
Yes, sir. We got a playoff game against Easley, 2 number 1 seeds going against each other. So not the most fairest of things, but we're gonna take it and give it our best shot.
What's your weather?
It is hot, Corn. I'm out here in the stands, dripping sweat. So they kind of didn't have enough room for me in the press box, but it'll be all right. I got my electric generator. I'm set up. I'm ready to go. So it's the big final 8 teams in American Legion. You got Fort Mill post 43 at Chesney post 48 tonight. You got Somerville post 21 at Camden post 17. And, of course, you got my game, Sumter, post 15 at Easley post 52. And then you got Rock Hill post 34 with the surprising upset over Richland 215. They'll take on Florence post 1 tonight. So final 8 teams, and the state tournament's going to be in Raleigh.
So, hey, Bergie, he's doing the play-by-play from the grandstands. I think you can relate to that, can't you?
There's no doubt. Taylor, I don't envy you in the least, especially in this heat, but I understand. We've done games when there are too many people in the press box when you're on the road. This sometimes happens.
That's why I have my electric generator, and I'm ready to go. maybe if I endure the heat, maybe the players play better. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you enjoy, man, and have a great call. Where can people hear you make your call?
On Jams 92.3 and 93.3 FM. Just type in Jams, JAMZ, Sumter, and then you can have the listen to live link on there. So it's going to be a fun one tonight. Two really good teams.
Have a great call, my man. Good hearing from you.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Taylor Nobinger. Let's see. Some text messages from the 803. The SEC has 16 teams. The Big Ten has 18 teams. That's 34 teams. Years ago, there was talk of taking the top 42 teams in the country and then playing for a championship with their own rules and governance. If those two conferences decide to do so, what is the chance that 4 to 6 teams really invested in football will not bolt to join them, especially if the money is ginormous? That hurts my head.
Question. That's
trying to figure that out.
Question, though.
Yeah. We'll discuss after the break.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low dropping down to 77. Tomorrow, much like today, a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 96 as our high temperature. Rain chances do increase on Wednesday to 40% with increasing clouds. We'll have a 60% chance for showers on Thursday to highs 90 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The U.S. military is carrying out its 10th consecutive night of strikes on Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says the strikes aim to degrade Iranian military capabilities used to attack commercial shipping. The conflict has escalated as Iran retaliates by attacking American allies Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. 2 U.S. soldiers were killed in Jordan on Friday and another died in Iraq on Saturday. President Trump has imposed a 50% tariff on most Canadian goods, declaring that Canada has unfairly discriminated against American autos, alcohol, and dairy products. The move was announced Monday. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 307 points, the Nasdaq dropped 12, the S&P 500 lower by 14. More details at srnnews.com.
Summer's not slowing down, and neither are we. The summer clearance sale is live at Palmetto State Armory. Come in today and find great deals on clearance clothing items, plus closeout pricing on fishing rods, reels, and tackle. Incredible savings from brands you love while supplies last. And right now, buy any lower parts kit, get $10 off a strip lower. The summer clearance sale runs July 13th through the 30th, only at your local Palmetto State Armory.
Business owners, if you're ready to grow your business, you can relax. With Founders Federal Credit Union, we mean business. When it comes to business loans, from equipment to expansion, our flexible financing can help fund real business growth. If you're considering a business loan, such as real estate, vehicles, equipment, or an unsecured loan or line of credit, our team is here to help. Our local experts will review your application, resulting in quick decisions and processing. And unlike most banks, we don't charge prepayment penalties. As always, from Founders, you can expect great rates and exceptional service along the way. Visit foundersfcu.com/business to learn more, or to get started, stop by an office near you or give us a call. 800-845-1614. That's 800-845-1614. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. Rates, terms, and conditions are subject to change. Loans are subject to credit evaluation and underwriting requirements.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid. and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6839. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6839. That's 800-575-6839. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Sports Talk Media Network, rolling into the football season from Tampa tonight, the beginning of SEC Media Days. Day one is in the book. Our coverage from SEC Media Days presented by Minuteman Press and School Cuts. If you're looking for custom apparel and professional printing all in one place, Minuteman and School Cuts have got you covered. For over 30 years, School Cuts has been the Midland's trusted source for screen printing and embroidery. From team uniforms, company shirts to custom apparel, School Cuts delivers quality you can see and wear. And now, School Cuts is part of the Minuteman Press family. They can ship anywhere in the country, and School Cuts is currently working with more than 100 high schools and universities. School Cuts, Minuteman Press, your one-stop shop for apparel printing, signs, banners, promotional products, and more. Go to Minuteman.com, SchoolCuts.com, or visit in person, 1415 Gervais Street, that's in Columbia, 518 Wessinger Street, that's in West Columbia. Check them out. Proud to have them on board, Minuteman Press and School Cuts. All right, phone number 888-898-2525. And back to the phones in a second. Let me hit up a couple of things here. The MEAC had their preseason events, and the coaches, have predicted South Carolina State to win the MEAC championship, followed by North Carolina Central, Delaware State, Morgan State, Norfolk State, and Howard. And South Carolina State's Chance Peterson named the let's do that again. South Carolina State's Jordan Franklin named the preseason Defensive Player of the Year, and the Offensive Player of the Year is Chance Peterson, and he's from North Carolina Central. South Carolina announced today that Stuart Lake will be staying on with the baseball program director of program development and camp coordinator. I loved him in the radio booth.
Yeah, I
he's
thought he
just
did
a baseball
job.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember one broadcast they had last season. Of course, the season was in the dumps, and there wasn't a whole lot of good stuff to talk about. Derek Scott and Stewart were doing their conversation back and forth, and he was keeping a count of the foul balls in this particular game. And they were like in the 50s with foul balls. And every time there was another foul ball, that's 53. You know, he just was keeping up. Had a count going on the foul balls. I thought it was so funny. Wasn't much else to talk about for Gamecock baseball, that's for sure. And let's see, ESPN. Hate it for them, but they're cutting more people. Well, how can ESPN be broke? They're not broke, but how can they be hemorrhaging money? Ryan Clark is one of the big names being cut by ESPN. Can you believe that? This is from Andrew Marchand of the Athletic. Andrew Marchand. Let's don't give it a French pronunciation. Andrew Marchand And he says The Athletic has learned that this is the first part of broader layoffs that are expected tomorrow. So they're cutting ties with Ryan Clark. What do you think's going on?
I don't know, and I am surprised they're knocking guys who cover the NFL. I mean, that's one of ESPN's major properties. Obviously, they talk NFL every single day of the year, and I'm really surprised they're cutting back in that regard. I don't know. Maybe Ryan Clark makes too much money. That's usually the case. They can find somebody to do it cheaper than what he's doing. It's a shame because I thought he was pretty good at what he does. So, yeah, I don't understand, but I joked with you when you mentioned this right before the show started that ESPN was about to cut some more people. They've got to have the money to pay all these exorbitant rights fees to carry football games, and it's got to come from somewhere.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And, of course, they're now partners with the NFL. They've taken over the NFL Network, but they've cut shows in the NFL Network. They just cut another show within the NFL Network. So, I don't
understand.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't understand you buy properties to tear them down, but you're not going to build them back up because they were already good, but you're going to make them worse. So, especially if you stuff in some of the ESPN so-called personalities that they do pay, which I don't understand how some of those people have jobs, but they do. But that's the latest. I happen to like Ryan Clark. I thought he was really good at what he did. Okay, back to the phones, 888-898-2525. Before we do that, did you want to comment more on this text message about 16 SEC teams, 18 Big Ten teams, and the talk of the top 42? Really, I thought it was more not the top 42, but I thought it was more like 64 teams or 68 or 70 teams, making their own organization and doing their own thing. I mean, that's been talked about here and there over the years, but nobody's been able to put that together and make it happen. Despite everything with the NCAA and all the issues, they're still underneath the umbrella of the NCAA.
Now, it's one thing if the SEC is just saber-rattling for itself and trying to promote, hey, we'll go do something else if we don't get our way in Congress. And I thought it was funny that Greg Sankey said, no, we're not using this as leverage. If that's what you believe. But now if the Big Ten gets involved and it's the Big Ten and the SEC, then, Phil, if I'm in the Atlantic Coast Conference or the Big 12, then I'm concerned. Because I think legitimately the Big Ten and the SEC could turn enough of the media heads to say, well, that makes good sense. We want to cover Big Ten and SEC football anyway, so why don't we just follow them? So, if the SEC tried to do it by itself, I'm not sure it would get much leverage and go very far. But as our texter points out, if they were able to coax the Big Ten in there and then maybe add a couple of other schools, you can't tell me that Clemson and Florida State and Miami and some of the other schools in the ACC and maybe 2 or 3 of the top schools in the Big 12 wouldn't try and jump on board and make sure they don't get left behind.
You don't want to be left behind.
No.
No school left behind. That's our philosophy here. Let's go to Tiger Bryan up in Lancaster. Next call, 888-898-2525. Tiger Bryan, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm just enjoying y'all's show as normal, and I got a couple comments. You read all kind of mess, people predicting this, that, and the other. One guy had predicted Clemson playing in the playoffs against Arizona State. I was going to see you comment on that. And then I want to know about Nolan Turner being coaching the secondary now at Clemson. Do you think him and Allen's boy, Tom Allen's son, supposed to fix what was broke last year or not? So I just want to let y'all know I enjoy your show, and I'm going to let somebody else, and I'm going to say go Tigers.
All right. And Carrico Wright back there also. Carrico Wright. So, listen. There are so many people. I went through the media guides at South Carolina and Clemson last week because what else was I going to do while I was, where I was, traveling and all that. And I think it was like, and I think I put this out on a tweet. Maybe you mentioned it. South Carolina listed like 74 support staff, and Clemson had like 73. Now, these are people who are not your front-line assistant coaches, but those who are assisting the assistant coaches, and then they have their assistants, and then you have everybody else, from medical to health to whatever the case may be, on and on and on, recruiting and all. My goodness, that thing has just blown up. But football's become so ravenous in everything that it wants to expand and then eat up the budget with so many different people, and there is no limit to what college athletics is trying to do with all the neutral site games to get a $4 or $5 million pop, and now paying players to play in these games and give them a big cut, a big share of that, and now that we're doing all this kind of stuff. There's no turning it back, no turning back the clock. But to go back to, I'm off the topic here of what Tiger Bryan was asking about. Yeah, I mean, the hope is that they've got better players in the secondary, TB, and the free agents that they brought in particular the Washington kid that came in from Penn State. He's supposed to be very good. Another safety they brought in from free agency. He's supposed to be a good player. So, I mean, they're hoping that they got better players with more coaches and more eyes on them, and they split the duties. Mike Reed used to coach them all. Now he's only coaching the corners, and you got a bevy of people coaching the safeties. That, along with the new players, what they hope are newer, better players, they're hoping is going to make the difference back there, Berkey.
I think Nolan Turner is going to turn out to be a pretty good coach. I didn't get a chance to listen to him, but he was one of the bevy of assistants that they made available to the media last Tuesday. And, he was an assistant safeties coach last year, and they promoted him to safeties coach this year. So Dabo must see something in him, and certainly Tom Allen does as well. And Mike Reed probably more particularly, that he's comfortable enough, as you pointed out, to maybe condense some of his duties and give more opportunities to a guy like Nolan Turner. Who I always, you kind of look at him and you thought if the NFL wasn't his calling, I think coaching would be. And I think he's going to turn out to be a pretty good coach.
Well, yeah, I mean, his story with his dad, and he's a football lifer. He and his whole family, they're football lifers, and no surprise. I mean, his dad and Dabo Swinney were like best friends, and no surprise that Swinney would take care of him when his career was over and give him a spot on the coaching staff and give him a chance to work his way up the coaching ranks. Our poll question of the week is brought to you by our man, Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance, 803-799-1998, Columbia, 803-359-0770 in Lexington. There will be a quarterback battle at Clemson next month. Who do you expect to start the opener at LSU? We haven't had a lot of votes in yet. Had a lot of votes on our last poll question. This one toward Clemson fans. So we need more Clemson fans to wake up and vote. But so far, 83% say Vizina will be the starting quarterback when they go to LSU, and 16.7% say Reynolds. So you got a chance to vote. Go to our X account, our X page at SC Sports Now, and you can vote. It's pinned right there to the top of the page. Now, let's go to Kentucky. Will Stein is the new head coach coming from Oregon, where he was the OC there for 3 years. Before that, he was at UTSA, and he's built the reputation as one of those offensive masterminds. He's got a new program, and his new program's got a new quarterback. Kenny Minchey comes from Notre Dame, where he was beaten out for the starting job. He was at Notre Dame for like 3 years, had a competition last season, was beaten out, didn't play a whole lot. Now he's at Kentucky. They're pinning their hopes on him. Here is what Will Stein had to say about that and other stuff.
When you turn on the tape, he's super accurate. He's mobile. He's competitive. He's got natural leadership abilities. He's poised. He's been trained, I believe, really well by the coaching staff at Notre Dame. And so was really excited to add him to our roster and to really give him the reins to our offense.
Coach, what's the one or two players on each side of the ball that have to really have good seasons for Kentucky to be successful this year?
I mean, I think it takes all of us. I really do. And I know that's cliche coach talk, but, man, this is the ultimate team sport. If all 11 aren't doing the job, then you got no chance. So I'm excited about the additions that we brought in. It's a super, super competitive league. You play 9 games. You better be on your P's and Q's every single week. Better be able to handle adversity. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're about 20-something days or less out from fall camp. We will continue to grow and improve as a team.
considering you're an offensive-minded coach, what is that sharing of responsibilities, if that makes sense, between you and Joe Sloan? Like, what will he be doing to contribute in terms of game planning and stuff like that?
Well, my goal now isn't to be the best play caller in the country and all that. It really isn't my job, and my goal is to be the best head coach in the country. So, Joe's having the play calling ability on Saturdays. We'll build the game plan up together. But I have to be involved in all facets of our program. There's just too much going on to only worry about the offense. I think the last guy to win a national championship calling plays was Jimbo in 2013 or whatever that was. So try to have a holistic approach to our program, trust my guys that I hired that are high IQ, high character people that know what it takes to win at this level, in this league specifically. I obviously will have my hand in the offense and making sure that it is running the way that I want it to, but there's also about freedom of thought. The best staffs I've been on, it wasn't just me. I think that's the misconception around college football. It's one person. It can't just be one person. It takes a village. It takes your coordinators, your passing game coordinators, your offensive line coach. Everybody in our organization has freedom of thought and has the ability to speak up and add to the pot of ideas. And it's ultimately my decision and Joe's decision of what we're actually going to call on Saturdays. So, but no, Joe's he's elite, and I'm glad he's a Wildcat.
And want to ask about your other coordinator, Jay Bateman. Kind of, what did you see from him, and kind of what he did at Texas A&M that made you think he is the right fit to be the defense coordinator at Kentucky?
Well, I love how attacking he is on defense, and what they were able to do at A&M the past few years is very impressive. They had a great roster, but they had really good scheme as well. So Jay is the ultimate relationship person. Our players already will run through a brick wall for this man. He pours into these kids' lives and invests in them much more than just on the field. I think he's just got a great feel for calling it as well. And it was important for me to give him the tools necessary, and really the people necessary for him to go out there and be his very best. We interviewed a lot of people for that job, but I felt like Jay embodied who I am as a coach. He's got a great wife, great 2 kids. Like, he fit me in what I want to do at Kentucky. And so I gave him people around him that know him or have played for him or been in his system. And when he's had that, he's been one of the best in the country. So another guy that's very familiar with the league, being at A&M, being at Florida. So that's beneficial too for me coming from the Big Ten.
All right, there you go. The new head coach at Kentucky, Will Stein. Going to be interesting to watch him and see what he can do with the Wildcats. Well, that's a situation that was, they were riding high at one point just a few years ago and thought they were going to emerge as one of the regular front runners in the SEC, and then the program just died and made the coaching change, brought in some fresh blood, and we'll see what he can do. And we'll be back after the break.
In 2012, inside Clemson football's weight room, a different kind of barbell was developed. The Tsunami Bar is a flexible, oscillating bar designed to enhance high-intensity training while helping reduce joint stress. Unlike traditional rigid bars, it moves. That movement forces your stabilizer muscles to activate, your core to engage, and your body to produce force more efficiently. The result is improved strength, better balance, and more functional performance. Tsunami Bar Sports continues to provide innovative, dynamic training solutions that empower individuals of all fitness levels to reach their peak potential. Whether you're training for general fitness, building resilience, or improving rotational strength for sports like golf, the Tsunami Bar challenges your body in ways traditional equipment cannot. Learn more at TsunamiBarSports.com.
If you're juggling multiple credit card balances and you're feeling overwhelmed, high interest can add up quickly and it can become stressful to control. Now through September 30th, 2026, well-qualified borrowers can pause interest when they transfer credit card balances and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months. A balance transfer can help simplify your life, making it easier to focus and manage your budget. This limited time offer can help you move forward with confidence and less worry. Plus, with fewer due dates and less interest to worry about, you can spend more time focusing on what matters most: your goals, your family, and your financial future. Upon expiration, APR will then revert to the standard variable APR, currently 12.5%, to 17.90%. If credit criteria are not met, 17.9% APR will apply. Don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
All right, we continue from here in Tampa. 888-898-2525. Had some folks holding, dropped off, so lines are back open again if you want to join us. 888-898-2525 is the number. And our text line number is, got to look it up, 803-900. I'm a little bit out of sync here. 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. Another text message here from the 843-LG. Not sure what the LG is. Can Leach become similar to Eman, who Seattle drafted as a safety? I don't know. That's a big if. I mean, you got to wait and see how far that young man can come before you start comparing him to Eman, considering how great a player Eman became in college. So I'm not so sure. Bakari Swain, can he develop into a future shutdown corner like J.C. Horn did and get bigger in size without losing his speed? I think he's about as big as he's going to get, and he's still pretty fast. I don't know that he'll be J.C. Horn-like. I mean, that guy's getting it done in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I think he can be a very effective corner. I think South Carolina's got two very, very good corners to start out the season with Collier and Swain. So I've always liked Swain. And, of course, his return abilities are outstanding. One more from the same writer. What do you think about the NFL and a third-place game in the playoffs like the runner-up of the championship league game? You know, they used to do that. That's not a novel idea. You know, the NFL used to have what they called the they had the Super Bowl, or they had the NFL championship game, but the weekend before that they had the game for third place. The two teams that lost, like in the semifinals of the playoffs, played in the maybe it was the same weekend the day before, but they had a, you can look it up, you can Google it, they had a third place game. I can't think of the name
the
of
World Cup did.
Yeah,
and you saw how interested France was in the third place game until halftime, and they must have gotten chewed out by their coach and actually came back and played in the second half. I think it's ridiculous. I really do. I can't imagine you could convince any NFL player who played in the NFC or AFC championship game to play during Pro Bowl weekend in a third place game for the NFL. unless you paid them a ridiculous amount of money. I can't see that flying in the NFL. I really can't.
The NFL's third-place game was officially named the Burt Bell Benefit Bowl, but it was known as the Playoff Bowl. It was played annually in Miami from 60 to 70 between the runner-ups or losing conference championship teams of the East and West conferences. Yeah, so they did have that back there in the day. Nobody wanted to play in it, I'm sure, but then the NFL did things like that. Remember the college all-star game against the NFL? Do you remember that game?
I do not.
Oh, my gosh.
Go back. The thing you just pointed out was before I was born.
Yeah. Well, also in the 70s and 60s and 70s, there was the annual college all-star game where you had a team of college all-stars that played, I believe they played the reigning NFL champion in the summer in like an exhibition game. And that was a big deal. When was
Could you imagine the Seahawks? The Seahawks playing a group of college all-stars? That would be interesting.
The Chicago Charities College All-Star Game was an annual preseason exhibition match from 34 to 76, pitting the reigning champions against a roster of top college football graduates every summer at Soldier Field in Chicago.
Well, there you go. Dabo Swinney and Shane Beamer have been wanting an exhibition.
There it is.
That'd be perfect. There it is.
But, I mean, today, everybody's scared to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
We can't risk it. We can't risk it. All right, we'll be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A major media merger is on hold. Bob Agnew reports.
A federal judge on Monday ordered Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery to halt their $81 billion merger for at least 2 weeks. That will allow states that are challenging the deal more time to see their case through in court. 12 states, led by California, sued to block Paramount's pending buyout of Warner last week, alleging that such a combination would, quote, extinguish competition in Hollywood and lead to fewer choices for consumers, especially moviegoers and cable customers across the country. Bob Agnew reporting.
The U.S. has initiated a 10th night of airstrikes against Iran. Speaking to reporters at Joint Base Andrews, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. will continue to strike Iran until it's ready to negotiate.
I also think it's growing apparent that even within their own system, there's a growing split. I think maybe some of your outlets have documented this. Between those that understand that their economy is in shambles and they need to do something, or they're going to be in a lot of trouble very soon, economically, domestically, and others who are very militant in their view of life and in their view of the world and continue to launch missiles. So they'll have to work out that split internally. We're going to continue to respond. If the door opens to diplomacy, if the guys that want to do something productive for Iran win and take control of that system or take control of the negotiations, that'll be a very positive development. That's not where we are tonight, unfortunately.
President Trump has imposed 50% tariffs on most Canadian goods, declaring that Canada has unfairly discriminated against American autos, alcohol, and dairy products. The move has risks of higher inflation and further fraying of relations between the two nations. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 307 points, the S&P lower by 14. More at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
A murder trial for a woman claiming she suffered from postpartum issues has started in Massachusetts. We hear more from correspondent Lisa Dwyer reporting.
Jury selection is underway in Massachusetts for Lindsay Clancy's murder trial. Clancy pled not guilty to 3 counts of murder in the deaths of her 3 young children in 2023. Prosecutors argue that Clancy used exercise bands to strangle her 3 children in a well-planned assault. She also tried to end her own life. Clancy's attorneys plan to lay out an insanity defense, arguing she was overmedicated and dealing with postpartum issues. Clancy and her husband filed lawsuits earlier this year accusing her medical providers of failing to properly treat her for a severe postpartum psychiatric condition. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low dropping down to 77. Tomorrow, much like today, a blend of sunshine and clouds to go with 96 as our high temperature. Rain chances do increase on Wednesday to 40% with increasing clouds. We'll have a 60% chance for showers on Thursday to highs 90 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, back with you, Sports Talk Media Network. Monday night, Manic Monday night, coming to you from Tampa, Florida, home of the SEC Media Days for 2026. Next year, we go back to Nashville. First time we've ever been in Florida with SEC Media Days. Back to Nashville in 2027. So we can make our plans for that. Love going to Nashville. Love coming to Tampa. It's just down here in Tampa back in March when Clemson came down here for their one game in the NCAA tournament. And we were in Tampa the previous year when South Carolina women played in the Final Four in Tampa. Spending too much time in Tampa, Bergie.
It's not a bad city at all. And as Greg Sankey mentioned, you've got, of course, the former Outback Bowl, whatever the Relia Quest Bowl down there, which is a huge SEC tie-in. So Tampa's been a good area for them. I'm really surprised that it is the first time that they've navigated SEC Media Days down there, though.
Yeah. Well, for the longest time, they never moved it out of Alabama.
Right.
But as the league grew, they felt the need to move it around. So, and we are here in no small part because of the folks at Minuteman Press and School Cuts supporting our coverage of SEC Media Days and the Gamecocks coming in tomorrow here at SEC Media Days. We remind you, if you're looking for custom apparel and professional printing all in one place, Minuteman and School Cuts, they have got you covered. For 30-plus years, School Cuts has been the Columbia area's trusted source for screen printing and embroidery. You can learn more on their website. Go to Minuteman.com or SchoolCuts.com or visit in person, 1415 Gervais Street in Columbia, 518 Wessinger Street in West Columbia. More from here. In just a little bit, we'll hear from Venables, and we will also hear from Heupel. We've got some recruiting information for you as well coming up, so stay tuned for that. But, we've been covering the Open with MJ Ward from up in, MJ's from New Jersey, but he was over there covering things last week, and now he's back in America. And to put the wraps on what was a very entertaining and interesting Open, MJ is joining us once again tonight as we've closed the book on the majors for another season. Disappointing in that we had no Grand Slam winner this year, MJ. Maybe next year, but a lot of storylines coming out of that finish and that tournament over there with the Open that you watched in person finishing up yesterday.
Yeah, Phil, it was a wild ending. Let's put it that way. I don't think anybody. Let's put it this way: if you bet Ryan Fox with FanDuel, you are celebrating. Let's put it that way. But he earned it. I will tell you this, Phil. I have yet, and I'd have to think about this, but I could probably say I've never seen a player play as difficult a final hole as well as he did yesterday, and then to finish it off with a 12-foot putt to win the championship. I'd have to think about that one. There are very few players that have ever birdied the final hole to win a major championship. I can name a few, but what he did yesterday was amazing. I think what's interesting, Phil, is that on the 17th hole, he missed a birdie putt. Now, if he had made that, he would have been one shot up with one to play. Even his caddy had said if that had happened, the strategy might have changed. Now, of course, we'll never know that, but I will tell you, Phil, to do what he did in the manner that he did it, that was very impressive. That was like Nicholas Watson. I don't want to characterize that, one tournament as saying he's got a career like that. But if he never wins anything else, that moment will forever be known, as not only a personal triumph, but also great pride for the Kiwi nation in New Zealand and for what that meant to win the Open Championship.
Berg, you made this point earlier tonight. We were talking about it, just how quickly Ryan Fox walked up to that putt on 18 and knocked it in, about a 12-footer. Is that his style? Is he one of those guys that doesn't waste any time? He walks up to the ball, he's ready to go.
He actually said this, Phil. We talked, the group of the press people, and he said it very simply. He said, I see shot, play shot. Essentially, that was it. The thing about what's amazing me with many players is that sometimes they go through the deliberation process, and it gets to the point of paralysis, and then all of a sudden the thoughts come in your head. He just executed. He said to his caddy when they got to 18, "We're taking this on right now," and there's no talk when you have to do it. You just do it, and that tee shot is one of the most demanding that I have seen in my years in covering major championship play. It was a real bona fide, tough as nails finishing hole, and then the approach shot equally great. And then, of course, to make the putt to seal it. I feel for Cameron Young, but I also know that Cameron opened the door a bit when he bogeyed the 18th hole, and that kind of opened that door just enough for Ryan Fox to make his move. But it was a grand championship. It was the most well-attended, Phil, Open championship that the R&A has staged. It was over 300,000 people attending. And I just think it was magnificent for the theater that it provided. You have to give credit to the R&A, to Royal Birkdale. They hired and they brought in a firm that is well known, the McKenzie Group. They're well known in updating golf courses, and I think they did a stellar job. Yes, there were 62s that were made. 3 of them were made during the championship. But, there were also elements where people just, took themselves out of it. And that's the way championship golf is supposed to be. It was probably the best weather that I can recall for an Open championship from start to finish. Basically the same wind pattern, same temperature. You couldn't ask, for anything more from that side. And I think the golf course played exactly the way that you want to see a links course play. It doesn't always happen because of weather patterns and stuff, but this one had all aces on it. And I know people will say, geez, why didn't we get a bigger name to win? Ryan Fox, to his credit, he's a talented guy. I mean, a lot of guys will shoot 60. I shouldn't say a lot of guys, Phil. There are guys that will have shot 62, but he's the only one with Xander Schauffele when he won the PGA at Valhalla that was able to take that round and make it the most by winning the actual championship. So you tip your hat to him, man. He shot 130 over the weekend. That ties the scoring record for the last 36 holes. Just a fantastic way to end up. And again, I can't say it enough times. The birdie 18, given the difficulty of what that hole presented the entire championship, just tremendous stuff.
Mm-hmm. MJ Ward with us here tonight on Sports Talk, recapping the Open Championship over the weekend as a major season in golf comes to a close. And MJ, I know the controversy around Bryson DeChambeau sort of carried the weekend, but I wanted to get your take on the ruling that Scotty Scheffler got yesterday on 17, where he hits two balls so far, almost out of bounds. They were in bounds, but he hits two terrible shots. He couldn't find either one of the balls, but somehow, because it was around a temporary immovable obstruction, he told the searchers stop looking for the ball, and then he gets to drop in basically almost in the fairway and hits it on the green and makes a birdie. First off, that can't be the correct
Chris,
rule, can it?
I'm sorry. Okay, finish what you're going to say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, first off, I was going to ask you, is that the rule? I mean, did they legislate that rule correctly? And if so, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, that you can hit a ball that's so bad and it can't be found, but you can benefit from it.
Well, I think one of the things about championship golf is, guys, you don't have gallery stands when you're playing regular golf with your friends on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. So, when that is put in play, it is a rule. The rule was notified to all players prior to this. This wasn't something that they just made up. I don't want to get down too deep into the rules book, but essentially what it comes down to is if the official that's out there is able to verify that it's virtually certain, those are the key two words, virtually certain, that ball is within the temporary immovable object, then the relief that you saw is then given. And I know a lot of people will come back and say, well, Matt, if he didn't have that temporary immovable, he would have been in God knows where, and there's no way that he would be able to possibly make a 4 or 5 or any type of legitimate number. He'd probably be making bogey or worse. Yes, there's no doubt about it, but this has been ongoing with tournament golf, for quite some time. But it was known. It was a determination made about the status of the ball. And, fortunately for Scheffler, the situation was as clarified as it was, and he was able to take advantage of it. It's just one of those things that happen. I know it will upset a lot of people, not just because of Scotty, but necessarily because of the way the rule is applied, but that is a situation that is not uncommon in championship golf.
All right, as we wrap it up, close the books on another Grand Slam season. When we see a Grand Slam winner in the calendar year?
Let me put it this way, Phil. You would probably wait a lot shorter for the Gamecocks to win the national championship in football than for a Grand Slam.
Really?
Yeah, I will say this much. I would go down to FanDuel right now and say, Beamer and Lenora Sellers, you will be sitting with the championship trophy. You got a better chance of doing that. To do 4 majors in a calendar year, it's just, Tiger won 3. And obviously he won the Tiger Slam with the Masters in the following season. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody could do that, Phil. I just don't. I think Tiger was able to do it. Ben Hogan did it himself. He won 3 majors. He couldn't play in the PGA because of a calendar situation too close to each other, the events. I just don't know how you'd be able to pull that off to maintain that level of play over the course of 4 months. And then to be it would probably take, Phil, an alignment of certain host sites. So let's say, for example, Augusta is Augusta. So you play there all the time. Okay, so you're familiar with that. Then it would come down to whether or not the other host sites for the 3 major championships are in alignment. Keep in mind, Phil, next year the Old Course and Pebble Beach are both on. Tiger was able to win both when he did it. But I will tell you this, Phil, no disrespect to the Gamecocks at all, but you'll sooner see a national championship than you'll see a Grand Slam. I would have to say, in all of sport, I can't think of a more demanding situation over that period of time, given the depth of the caliber of players, and you have to have some luck. I mean, some of the things have to break your way for that to happen, but I will say this much, Phil. If you could win even 2 like Scotty did last year, that's extraordinary given the level of competition that exists in world golf. And I don't think it's going to change in any bit whatsoever in the years to come. I think it's just going to get more and more competitive, and we'll still see if somebody can, maybe make a move on something like that. I mean, Rory's had 2 opportunities at it the last 2 years, but I actually think Rory has gone to sleep after he won the Masters. I think that basically filled his bill. And, we'll see what happens for the rest of next year when they get back into the majors.
All right, last thing, we'll let you go. Is there anybody coming up through the ranks, a youngster, who's going to be the next Tiger Woods?
Phil, there's no such thing as the next. That's like saying the next Sinatra, okay, or the next Laurence Olivier. I mean, there's no way to predict that. I just think that. I mean, I'm going to be covering the U.S. Juniors this week in Pennsylvania, and Charlie Woods is in the field. He qualified. The talent that's out there is extremely high. And to separate yourself, I will say this, Phil, the thing that's going to be the separation factor, if you want to be in that league of maybe a mention with Tiger Woods, you have to have an insatiable desire to not only win, but crush people like grapes. That's what you have to have. That's what Tiger had. And if you don't have that, then you're certainly not going to be able to continue that kind of level of play. I've never saw anybody with that kind of desire to just simply destroy people over the course of a 72-hole event. And they knew it when they stepped up on the first tee. I mean, it was almost like they had Pampers on when they started to do the introductions. I mean, he was awesome. I don't know if there's going to be such a player. It may happen, but it will probably not happen in my lifetime.
All right, my brother, great stuff as always. Maybe there'll be something down the road that we want to talk to you about related to the golf world, so we'll keep in touch.
Thanks, MJ.
Guys, I just want to say thank you, as always, for the opportunity, and to all the listeners in South Carolina, probably the best golf fans in the United States. I know how avid the players and fans are throughout the state, and it's a pleasure always to be with you guys. And thanks again for having this opportunity to talk about each of the majors this year.
Thank you, MJ. Great job as always. Love having you with us. We'll talk to you again soon. And that reminds me to remind you that we've got the South Carolina Amateur teeing off on Thursday over in Sumter, Bergie.
He's so right about the 4 majors, though. I mean, Aaron Rye won the PGA Championship this year. Probably nobody remembers that.
No.
And chances of him winning another major, probably pretty slim. But he won
I want another Tiger. I want another Tiger. Be right back.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. Whether you're on the water or going hunting on land, always tell someone where you're going. Be specific and tell them when you plan to return. Plan your hunt and hunt your plan. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
Download the free Go Outdoors SC app from SCDNR, buy licenses, report harvests, and carry everything digitally right on your phone. Go Outdoors SC.
Looking for thrills? Then welcome to the South Carolina Education Lottery, where excitement's the name of the game, and every chance at a win
Just one more. Come on, so close.
comes with the chance of a whiff.
Ugh. Well, no biggie.
Nicely done. You handled it like a pro. Because when the stakes start getting too real and you find yourself playing for more than fun, it might be time to take a break.
Good point.
Playing for fun makes you a better player, and a better player is a better you. Learn more at SCEducationLottery.com.
Looking for a new car? You need to think about a Kia.
If you're in the market for an SUV, consider the new Kia Telluride or the new Kia Sorento. They're big, they're strong, and loaded with tech for thousands less than Honda or Toyota. You'll see the difference right away, and you get double the warranty. Plus, you get the JT's Advantage million-mile warranty and about 1,000 other things you have to see to believe.
If you want the biggest bang for your buck, it's time to think about a new JT's Kia.
We're serious about saving you money.
If you want to reach sports fans, there's no better place than the Sports Talk Media Network. We give your business exposure on over 20 radio affiliates across South Carolina, plus online at SportsTalkSC.com and on our growing social media platforms. That means radio, digital, and social, all working together for your brand. Our audience is loyal, engaged, and they trust what they hear from us. We partner with local businesses, regional brands, and anyone who wants to connect with real sports fans. From live reads and sponsorships to digital advertising, we'll build a custom campaign to fit your goals and budget. Ready to advertise with Sports Talk Media Network? Visit sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. That's sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. Sports Talk Media Network, advertising that reaches sports fans.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
All right, we're back from Tampa. Hey, you know, some things just belong together. As football Saturdays, great friends, and a smooth pour. Oh, you like a smooth pour, don't you, Bergie? This
Indeed.
September, meet Sandstorm Tequila, created by Gamecocks for Gamecocks and proudly veteran-owned. It's a South Carolina brand built for unforgettable weekends, lasting memories. You'll find Sandstorm Tequila at retailers across the state beginning this September. Follow along for launch events, special appearances, and more. Sandstorm Tequila, created by Gamecocks for Gamecocks. And please enjoy responsibly. Charger Ron on YouTube writes to us, if the SEC goes out of on its own, does that make USC a perennial top 20 team, Bergie? Hey,
Yes.
no, better than that. It makes them a
Absolutely.
perennial top 16 team, unless they add more teams. You know,
That's great.
So that's a great line. That's
There's
a great
another.
line.
There's another question to ask. Would they rank them?
Yeah.
Or would they not rank the SEC because it's out doing its own thing away from
mean
the
with
rest
the-
of the NCAA?
You mean
with
with
the
the
Associated Press and
ignore them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows what the repercussions of that would be? Let's don't even go there. I don't think it's going to happen, so let's don't even go there. Let's go to Brent Venables. Brent Venables, who went through a little hot spot there in Oklahoma, but last year got him to the playoffs, lost to Alabama, did it with a quarterback who wasn't healthy most of the year, but he's healthy now, Mateer. He had a broken hand. He had a thumb injury on his throwing hand, only missed one game. Kind of rushed back for that Texas game, and it didn't go well. But they still won 10 games, and Venables got back into the good graces of the Sooners, and he was here today, and one of the questions that he was asked was about how they were handling things this offseason, getting ready for the next season.
Well, I know the areas that, we've really spent a lot of time. We look at every area, all the efficiency spaces, all the margins. There's no area that shouldn't, the focus shouldn't be about getting better. How can we get better? And, you go back, we've really looked at the areas where we fell short certainly in your 3 losses. Let's start turnover margin. We're -5 in the turnover margin. 85th in the country. That puts a lot of stress and pressure on your football team, certainly when you're giving it to the other team, but also our ability to take it back is incredibly important. It can change a game, and did impact some games when we were able to do that. And so turnover margin, running the football, being, closer to 175 yards a game than where we were. That's a vision for what we want to be, and create more balance and create more explosive plays as a byproduct of that. Take pressure, off of a bunch of young offensive linemen a year ago. If we had the ability to run the ball, and certainly take pressure off the quarterback as well. But those are really, if we hit the target on those 2 spaces, and we have certainly lots of other efficiencies and spaces that we want to continue to build on and improve as well, we'll be a much better, football team. And so that's kind of where our focus has been, and I think returning, we had 9 first-year starters on offense a year ago. It looked like it from a lack of cohesion and chemistry and, rhythm that any great unit's going to have. And so this year I think we have 7 or 8 returning starters there, with the addition of some of the most experienced players in college football, Terrell Harris and Marion Harris, right tackle from Arkansas as well. And then returning, a year ago we didn't know a whole lot about our kicking game and where we were going to be, and certainly we had the Lou Groza Award winner and all-SEC punter and Grayson Miller, as well as Satania, that really was outstanding.
Okay, that's Brent Venables from Oklahoma. Back after the break.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low dropping down to 77. Tomorrow, much like today, a blend of sunshine and clouds to go at 96 as our high temperature. Rain chances do increase on Wednesday to 40% with increasing clouds. We'll have a 60% chance for showers on Thursday. The high is 90 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
Press that button, Home Stew.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A tropical depression is drifting erratically in the Gulf and is forecast to gradually strengthen into a tropical storm this week that could threaten several states. Forecasters say the depression is about 105 miles south of Panama City, Florida, and could become a named storm in the coming hours. They warn the system could produce a life-threatening storm surge over a wide stretch of the northern Gulf Coast. Senator Darlene Graham announces she's running for a full term in her late brother Lindsey Graham's Senate seat. She shared her decision with Fox News Channel's Sean Hannity in an interview set to air later tonight. Darlene Graham was sworn in last week to fulfill the remaining months of her brother's term, which ends in January. President Trump has endorsed her candidacy. More details at srnnews.com.
Are you tired of that dripping faucet driving you crazy? Is your drain doing more of a gurgle than a flow? Don't despair. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is here to save your day. Serving our community as locally owned plumbing experts, Franklin Plumbing tackles everything from minor leaks to major clogs. And we're talking fast, friendly, reliable service. They respect your home. They respect your wallet. Josh and his team offer upfront pricing, and that's important. This team I'm talking about, they're fully licensed. They're insured technicians. They're ready for any plumbing crisis that you might encounter, whether it's routine routine maintenance, a stubborn blockage, or a total plumbing overhaul, they'll get the job done right the first time. They've been out to my home, my brother's home, even his business. I'm comfortable, very comfortable, bragging on Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Stop letting plumbing problems disrupt your life. Call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning today and experience the difference that true expertise makes. Visit their website, franklinplumbing.sc.com, or give them a call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
When you've served the Midlands for more than 80 years, you're obviously doing something right. Groucho's Deli has 8 Midlands locations and for decades holds the title of Best Sandwich, Best Salad, Best Sweet Tea, Best Fast Lunch, Best Bang for Your Buck, Best Deli. Well, you get the idea. Order online at Grouchos.com and on the Groucho's app for fast, convenient, and friendly pickup. And sign up for the Groucho's Rewards and Birthday Brownie Club.
Need a quality grill that'll outlast the test of time? Bart Fireside on Broad River Road in Columbia has your grill. Bart Fireside offers you a wide variety of outdoor grills. Smokers from the Big Green Egg, infrared grills by Tech, propane grills from Napoleon, and pellet grills from Green Mountain. Bart Fireside has the perfect outdoor grill for any occasion. Call them at 772-7364 and they're online at bartfireside.com.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
And we're happy to have been voted Lexington's best glass store for 15 years in a row.
Many drivers are unaware that your cracked windshields can be replaced, usually at absolutely no cost to you.
If all the high-end car dealerships in town can trust us to do their glass needs, so can you.
We service the Midlands both at our shop in Lexington, but we are also happy to come to you at home or work.
Find us online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Insurance commercials are everywhere. The mascots, the catchy songs, it's a lot of noise. But when you have a question about your actual coverage, who do you call?
I'm David Jolly with South Carolina Insurance Brokers. I skip the gimmicks, focus on you and your needs. Whether it's your home, your car, your small business, I'm a local expert who's here to make sure that you're truly protected, not just sold.
Get the peace of mind you deserve from a neighbor you can trust.
Call me at 803-380-8877. I'm David Jolly. When you think of insurance, I ask that you think of me.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, let's talk some recruiting, brought to you by Seawells, and let's talk catering, brought to you by Seawells. Make sure you visit their website. What's that website, Bergie? SeawellsCateringSC.com.
Indeed. Evidently, I said it backwards last week. And Josh let me off the hook.
Had that been me, the siren would have been worn out. It would have been played so much.
Yes,
Seawells.
but there's a statute of limitations on, on the mistakes, and if it goes into the next week, you get a freebie.
No, that's not true. We've done that before. We've done that before, but yours was on Thursday. I knew it happened on Thursday. I just didn't call it out on Friday. So.
Yeah, I've carried my mistakes through the weekend and then owned up to it the next Monday, okay? Come on.
I'm still upset with Seawells for dropping the buffet. So,
well, my job is gone pretty much. That was the only reason why I was here.
SeawellsCateringSC.com. Check out the menu options there and let them help you plan and execute to perfection your important event that requires the best in the catering business. Don't forget they're moving to their new location inside the state fairgrounds, probably doing that as we speak. Their phone number, 803-771-7385, 803-771-7385. So there's a finish line in sight in the recruiting battle between Clemson and Georgia for safety Seth Williams, Atlanta. Former Clemson commitment postponed a July 3rd announcement to give himself more time. Now he is set July 31st. For his commitment announcement. He'll deliver the news via 24/7 Sports, probably in the 6 to 6:30 time frame. Last night, he told us he's not made up his mind. Says that I'm pretty sure I'll be ready by then and be all right with my decision. I'm just going over that aspect of who's going to develop me the most and where I'm going to go and get to the next level. He says everybody on the Clemson staff has been calling him and contacting him. Not that much from Dabo Swinney, he said. He hadn't talked to him very much recently, but he does hear from Georgia coach Kirby Smart, he said, about twice a week right now. Of course, the Bulldogs just picked up a commitment from safety Adrian Cole of Douglasville, Georgia. They happen to be good friends, but he said that really doesn't impact his decision. He wants to go where there's going to be a good recruiting class, and the only way he said it would impact him in a positive way because he'd be playing alongside his good friend Cole for 3 years. He only wants to be in college 3 years. He wants to move on after 3 years. So they are good friends. They played on 7-on-7 teams together. But again, he said that's not impacting his decision. And he does plan to let the schools know in advance of his public announcement. Clemson offered a pair of tight ends, 2028 Caleb Ballard, 6'5", 221 of Wetumpka, Alabama. He's also a basketball prospect who averaged 16 points and 15 rebounds per game last season. Some other offers for him are North Carolina, LSU, West Virginia, UCLA, NC State, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, Florida, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Virginia Tech, Georgia, others. And the Tigers offered 2028 tight end Wright Martin, 6'2", 245 of Nashville. He's the son of former Furman and Green Bay quarterback Ingle Martin. Remember Ingle Martin? He had a very, if I'm not mistaken, he was an excellent quarterback, but I think he had a very odd throwing motion, as I recall, Ingle Martin. But he was very good at what he did. Very good runner, too. Some of his other offers are Virginia, Ohio State, Georgia, Arkansas, and Maryland. On threes, Pete Nakos has logged a prediction for Tennessee to land the running back David Gabriel Georges. We had he's the kid at Baylor School in Chattanooga. We had Eric Kimry on with us a couple weeks ago to talk about him when it became reported that he was going to be the first $1 million college running back. All right, Tennessee. So apparently you're on the hook, on the books for $1 million for this guy coming out of high school. They say you heard Eric Kimry talk about what a great kid he is and what a great athlete he is. In baseball, college baseball reporter Alfred Esmond reported that Coastal Carolina picked up a transfer from junior college, Sam Brown, an infielder from Gulf Coast State College, 331, 13 homers, 47 RBIs this past season. There you go. That's the recruiting report tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. All right, one more piece from today here at SEC Media Days, and it is Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, who I swear is the son of Brad Scott. I mean, they just look alike to me. Josh Heupel looks like a younger Brad Scott to me. Maybe it's my vision, but I don't know. Take a look, put the pictures side by side, and you can decide for yourself, So we just threw it up on the screen. Tell me that doesn't look like Brad Scott. I'm sorry. Josh Heupel looks like Brad Scott. So anyway, he is, coming off a disappointing season there at Tennessee. Had a very good quarterback, threw for a lot of yards, but they only won, I think, 8 games. They've been on a little bit of a slide. So, they need to go out and win some games and get things turned around back in a positive direction as far as that program is concerned. And so he's got talent on this team, as I mentioned earlier, but he also has 2 young quarterbacks, 2 unproven quarterbacks, a true freshman and a redshirt freshman who are competing for the job, and he talks about that situation.
Yeah, there's going to come a day where I come back in here and we got a return starter. It's been 5 years here, and I was talking with Bill Martin, our sports information director, and 7 out of the last 9 years, we've had a new starting quarterback in our history with our staff, and 7 out of the last 9 years, we've been top 10 in the country in scoring too. So we have 2 young guys that are competing at a really high level. They've continued to grow. There's a lot on their plate. Look forward to seeing them learn it, earn it, and take a job during the course of training camp. I think that's important for his teammates to see that, garner that trust and respect from the other guys that you're going to be on the field with. But excited about who we have, and I think it's really important. I mentioned the offensive line earlier. It's important that those guys play at a high level. We have a lot of experience coming back at our skill positions on the offensive side of the football. Going to be important that they're doing their job at a really high level. And ultimately, when you have a young quarterback, you got to tie everything together. We got to play really good defense, and special teams got to be on point.
Coach, would you be able to describe a few attributes of the two quarterbacks that you feel are competing for the position?
Yeah, George McIntyre redshirted a year ago, second year in our system. As we started in January, had good understanding of what we're doing, the most experience inside of it, but has continued to grow in his mastery of what we're doing offensively. Thought he took some big jumps fundamentally and technically inside of the pocket that were important for him during this offseason. Faison Brandon, true freshman, radically changed his body. He's done a great job competing in that avenue, but has competed extremely hard. He's one of the first guys in the building, one of the last to leave. He's constantly doing extra work to make up ground and master what we're doing offensively. I like the way that they've competed individually. I like how they've competed as a group. They've done it the right way, which I think is important that your team sees that. And looking forward to seeing them as we start training camp here in a couple of weeks.
All right, something to watch at Tennessee. A quarterback battle going on there. I think a quarterback battle that'll be going on at Clemson. Faison Brandon is the true freshman. George McIntyre is the redshirt freshman. Brandon put on about 20 pounds in the spring, and McIntyre redshirted last season after playing in 2 games. They're both big. Brandon is 6'4", and McIntyre is 6'6". And wide receiver, I tell you, keep an eye on, of course, for Tennessee, the young man out of Strom Thurmond High School, and that is the Staley kid, Braylon Staley. He had 68 catches, 837 yards, 8 touchdowns last season, and he and Mike Matthews give the Vols two of the most dangerous receivers in the league. And then there's offensive tackle David Sanders, who's going to move from the right side to the left side. He'll be the big, strong leader on that offensive line. They'll have 3 free agents apparently starting on that offensive line. So they'll be older. They'll be old because they're bringing in older guys. And then this linebacker, Amari Campbell, coming in from Penn State after playing at North Carolina before that. Last 2 years, 179 tackles and 13 sacks. So they got some good players over there. They open up against Furman on September 5th. They'll play at South Carolina on October 24th. Everything from today, as far as the coaches coming into the electronics room, everything from today you can take your time and go through on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, also up on our YouTube channel, Sports Talk Media Network, on our Facebook as well. We have little clips on Facebook at Sports Talk Media Network, so you can check it out.
Did he talk about their defense today? Because that's where they've had issues. I mean, they were extremely good last year on offense, but they were 91st in the nation in total defense last year.
You know, it may have come up. Nothing about it really stands out to me from a defensive standpoint. When he was in we only get him in the electronic room. The coaches, players, they come in there for about 13, 14 minutes.
Right.
So
yeah. I mean, they give up 400 yards a game. I mean, if they're going to improve, they can't continue to do that.
Well, you got to have the talk about questions. Talk about. And
why can't you talk about the defense?
Yeah, really. And as is always the case, you got, one guy, usually one guy. I don't know if he's writing a book or he's putting together a montage, but he asks the same 3 questions to every person that comes in. And the questions this year, one of them is like this. So, Bobby, you're playing for Tennessee, and you're in the tunnel at Neyland Stadium, and 110,000 Vols fans are going crazy. How does that make you feel? How do you feel when you're in that tunnel? And so the next kid will come in from another school, say Kentucky. Hey, Joey, you're at Kroger Field, and you got 65,000 Wildcat fans going crazy, and you're in the tunnel, and the 65,000 Wildcat fans are going crazy. How do you feel? And so for every kid that comes in, he asks them how they feel in their tunnel, in their respective stadium. And I'm like, and you know what? To his credit, he got good answers.
I was going to ask. I mean, what kind of answers is he getting?
He got good answers. No, yeah, he got good answers. Most of them were like, oh, yeah, man, I still get that chill. I still get that. It's a good 10, 15-second TV soundbite sort of thing. By the way, I just saw a tweet. It looks like South Carolina got a baseball commitment because Chad Oxendine, you know him, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. One of the assistant coaches who came over from Coastal Carolina. He just tweeted out a Spurs up for Gamecock baseball. Now, I wonder if they got the player. Hang on just a second here and let me do something. I wonder if they got the player. I think you might have mentioned it in the recruiting report recently, the other day, that they were in the running with a couple of other schools. Did you have that last week?
Oh, yeah, the kid from Texas.
Kid from Texas, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The infielder from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they got him. I'll have to look his name up and see. We'll do that during the break. But, yeah, apparently South Carolina's gotten a baseball commitment based on a tweet there from Chad Oxendine. So, all right, let's hit the break. We'll come back with our final segment tonight from here in Tampa. Actually going to shift gears and do a little ACC stuff for you. Going to continue to roll out some ACC stuff from last week, mixing it in with the SEC stuff. And remember, tomorrow is South Carolina's day. They'll be in the afternoon, and we'll have coverage of that for you, including the separate stuff the South Carolina media will do with the Gamecocks before they start to make their rounds. We'll have that covered for you, of course, extensively, and we'll be back in a moment.
Exciting news! Founders Federal Credit Union is offering a limited time rate on 15-month certificates and IRA certificates with a minimum deposit of just $500. Lock in 4.58% APY or 80% yield on a 15-month certificate. That's right, 4.58% APY. Or open a 15-month IRA certificate at 4.84 APY. Let your money work for you with guaranteed dividends. New and renewal certificates of $500 or more unlock an additional 0.25% dividend increase. Don't let this chance slip away. Certificates can be opened on Founders Online, the Founders app, or at an office near you. IRA certificates can be opened at a Founders office only. Not a member yet? Visit foundersfcu.com to learn more and see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Dividends compound quarterly. Rates accurate as of July 1st, 2026. Rates, terms, and conditions subject to change without notice. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
When I was in high school, my coach liked to say, you don't rise to low expectations. And that's just always stuck with me. So with the help of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to get a degree in secondary education. Now it's my turn to invest in my athletes, the same way my coaches did for me. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll do the same for someone else.
Better coaches means a better South Carolina. And a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Well, we're not as smart as we thought we were. Checking on Callum Early, the free agent infielder from Texas, and just saw a report about an hour ago that he's going to go to Florida State. So it's not Callum Early that South Carolina might be picking up. So we'll have to see what comes out of that and see who emerges as the person for whom that commitment alert was issued by Chad Oxendine. Back to your calls in a moment, and a little bit from Brent Key, the head coach at Georgia Tech, coming out of the ACC kickoff from last week. But want to remind you here on Sports Talk, as we're coming to you from Tampa, and we'll be here in Tampa for the rest of the week as far as the SEC media days are concerned, wrapping up on Thursday, be heading back on Thursday. And our coverage is brought to you in part here on Sports Talk by Minuteman Press and School Cuts. And don't forget that if you're looking for custom apparel and professional printing all in one place, Minuteman and School Cuts, they've got you covered. For over 30 years, School Cuts has been the Midland's trusted source for screen printing and embroidery. And School Cuts is now part of the Minuteman Press family, and they can ship anywhere in the U.S. School Cuts is currently working with more than 100 high schools and universities. So make School Cuts and Minuteman Press your one-stop shop for apparel printing, signs, banners, promotional products, and more. Go to Minuteman.com, schoolcuts.com, or you can visit in person, as I have, at 1415 Gervais Street in Columbia or 518 Wessinger Street in West Columbia. Let's go to Ryan in Hartsville. Next up on Sports Talk. Welcome in, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, Phil. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
Hadn't talked to you in a few years, man. What's going on?
Oh, just living a good life.
All right, so let's look at Clemson's quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Cole Stout, and then we had Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun took the starting job after game 2. So I see that same scenario this year. What do you think?
Well,
and Deshaun was he was a true freshman.
I'm telling you, from what I read from Tiger Illustrated, Larry Williams, the way I took it was they were laying the groundwork. In my mind, my impression was they were laying the groundwork to their readers that Tate Reynolds could very well be the starting quarterback going into the LSU game. That's my interpretation of what they wrote. Now, I could be interpreting that wrong, or they could be wrong, but it certainly sounds to me like it's an open competition going into fall camp.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that Cole Stout, Deshaun Watson deal. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Was it that soon? I thought they didn't switch to Watson full time until the Florida State game.
That would not be game. That would have been game 4.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That it was that deep into the. It was that deep into the season.
Well, Dabo. I love Clemson, man, but Dabo. Oh, I don't know what to say here.
Are you going to be, if Clemson doesn't make the playoffs, if Clemson doesn't win the ACC, are you going to be mad at Dabo?
Hell yeah.
Are you going to be mad enough at Dabo that you want to change?
Well, he needs to change as far as NIL. He does. He really does.
He's changed. I mean, what else can he do?
Well, he has, but he hasn't.
How hasn't he?
Okay, so LSU, go look at their roster.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying you're not spending enough?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm looking at the 2014 game log. It was actually the third game. They opened up against Georgia. Okay. Remember, he came in. Clemson got beat, but he threw a BB for a touchdown. Remember, everybody goes, whoa.
I do. I remember.
Yeah. And then it was South Carolina State the next week, and then they played at Florida State, and they lost, but that's when the transition took place. That would have been at Florida State in 2014 on September 20th. And then
yeah, but his first start was the next week, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, he came in that Florida State game, and that's when he took over.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think his next start was North Carolina. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good catch there. Good catch.
So he's like a Cole Stout. Okay, he paid his time. He's been there 3 years. Okay, we're gonna give the veteran, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, let's start this guy. And I'm just telling you, man, I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, you better start the best guy, regardless of age, experience. I mean, from what I've read, Reynolds is a very talented overall athlete, a better athlete than Vezina is. I mean, Reynolds is also a highly regarded baseball player. Of course, he missed all of last football season with an injury. So you're getting a guy there who hasn't played now going on, I guess it'll be sitting out a full year. So he's missed a full year. Going to be coming off that. But they say he's a very talented guy, can run, got a really good arm. I guess the question is, from what I've read, is how quickly he picks up the offense and how well he protects the football. If he protects the football in camp and doesn't turn it over and doesn't throw a bunch of interceptions and things like that, and if he wins the trust, you got to win the trust of Morris and Sweeney. If he wins their trust, then he just might be the guy.
Well, he sounds to me like a Chad Morris quarterback.
Yep.
Vezina does not sound that way to me. That's just my opinion.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Appreciate you. Okay.
I think there's some truth to what Ryan is saying about the comparison. He's not the first person. I've had Clemson friends of mine tell me the same thing. They see Cole Stout and Deshaun Watson, and if you go that route, unless Vezina, let's give the kid the benefit of the doubt. If CV, as they call him, goes in and lights up LSU, he's not losing that job. But if he struggles, they lose that game, and then is average against Georgia Southern, I think you could certainly see the North Carolina game. You start getting a transition in that California game on a Friday. That's probably when you see Tate Reynolds full time, if they're going to make the change.
I'm looking at this 2014 season. Somebody needs to refresh me, maybe Ryan. I mean, did Watson it looks like he missed like they played Louisville and then he didn't play again until they played at Georgia Tech, and then he played against South Carolina, I think. This is showing he only played in 8 games that year. I'm wondering if he did he have some kind of injury thing? I know he had
Was
the knee.
Was that the ACL year for him? Remember he claimed he played the ACL year? South Carolina game.
It might have been.
Bad knee.
It might have been. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.